let me ask you this question. What made you want to become an educational consultant?
So, good morning. Thank you for having me. So, my journey through education is what led me to where I am now, wanting to get into the educational consulting realm of education. So, I am a career educator, and I would argue at the age of 8 when I was teaching my stuffed animals and bossing my brothers around, it was always kind of destined to happen. And I think the bossing my brothers around also led to the fact that I would always be a leader in education. So that's kind of the start of my journey. I taught for about 10 years. And then I got the tap on the shoulder of, hey, there's this leadership academy. We think it'd be a great fit. So I embraced the opportunity. I always pride myself on having a say yes and explore opportunities, open minded, don't close doors kind of approach to life. So I did that, realized that I absolutely was ready for that step in my life. I then was a principal for 4 years in an inner city school, and that was the commute was really hard and an opportunity closer to home in a rural school. So talk about two like
Completely different world.
totally different school settings, yet the issues, the kids, the family, all the same. Like it really different dynamics, different levels of things. However, kids are kids. So I go into this setting and I've been there for 14 years.
Nice.
So heart, soul, all of my passion has gone there. And in the last couple of years, I started to get the itch again like, okay, kind of what's next? What's next? And it was said to me once that you really have to figure out what you don't like sometimes to know where you're going.
Absolutely.
And so I really embraced that and I did a ton of self reflection. And I realized that it was time for me to start my next chapter and truly embrace what my passions in education were. My passions are not meeting with families about attendance. It's not where my passions are. I do my job, I do it well, all of that, but it's not my passions. So as I started really thinking about that, I'm passionate about coaching and supporting teachers. I'm very, very passionate about the concept of sense of belonging and how that connects with a really strong tier one program. Did attend your PD, and we have sent a majority of our staff there. And through your PD, like your actual education consulting, we put into practice so much of what you did. And, I'm going to fill out the podcast form and we can talk more about that because I know that's a whole different conversation,
Whole different conversation.
but
Yes.
we put that to life. And this year, after multiple years, we have a school-wide tier one SEL and behavior program. We have MTSS set up in this whole sense of belonging initiative. And you cannot teach children who don't feel like they belong, who don't feel safe. I could just go on and on. So as I narrowed down what my passions were, it became really, really clear that what I want to do is get into schools and coach teachers and principals and support them in the hard work they do. And we're so, like, as a principal, there's so many varied things on your shoulders, and it's like more and more and more. And when I want to be in and doing the coaching, I keep being taken away and pulled away. So I have older kids. They're like in their late and mid 20s. We're empty nesters. It is time for me in this next chapter. So I'm actually on paper officially retiring as of June 30th,
Oh,
like
congratulations.
officially doing it, and looking to embark in educational consulting and supporting the schools that want to make this difference. So
No, no,
that's that's the long answer to my journey of how I'm here.
Oh wow, well, that's a great answer. And one thing I like that you said is how your passion does change over time. And because one thing that I would say is I'm in agreement with you that I'm not what I cared about more 10, 15 years ago is not the same thing I care about today.
Hmm.
I thought that, when it came down to, I enjoyed being that person that could get through to kids that other people couldn't get through to.
Yeah.
I enjoy being the person that would like mentor kids and do different things to that nature. But as you matriculate through your career, you start getting new opportunities.
Hmm.
And the one thing I would say is that, like, the person I am today, I don't know if I want to really go back to that person that was doing
Right.
that. But what I want to do is work with people that are in that position to work with those kids to carry on some of the things that I was doing and also improve upon some of the things that I was doing, because now I'm able to go back and say, oh, I made a mistake here, I made a mistake there. I
Yep.
could have been done this better. And so, like, being able to just help the next few people that are having their challenges be
Hmm.
able to go through that. But yeah, definitely things change. And especially now, like, I actually have a different situation than you and also a lot of other people. From you're on your process of on your way out the door, but you're empty nest, your kids are out. I just started. So I literally have, he'll be 2 at the end of this month. So literally, like, I am
Yeah,
just
we
getting
heard all
started.
about it.
I know,
We heard
right?
all about it in Holland because they all came back and they're like, "Hey, you had like." So the funny thing, total side note, it's kind of like, so I was like, "I'm gonna hang out with Kelvin on Sunday." Everyone's like, "Hey, what?" Like you're like, we talk about you like we know you. We know we don't,
Right.
you know. But I would say that is that is a compliment that you made that kind of connection in your professional development that made a difference. So your goal of wanting to make a difference, even if it's one school, one person at a time, we are the living embodiment that you did that. And honestly, Kelvin, and I'm not just saying this because you're sitting
Sure.
here,
Mhm.
and I sincerely mean that. Um, my truth is, I want to do that for other people. And, we have figured out like this tier one approach. None of it cost a dime.
No,
Like,
not at all.
not one thing cost a dime. And there's a way to do it. And I'm really passionate about making this happen. Now I'm like, how do you make it happen? Which is why I'm here. Is that question like, how do you make it happen?
Absolutely. And I think the key part you said right there, and I think that transitions into what you are looking for, is when you said it doesn't cost a dime. And I think once you kind of get people to figure out that it doesn't cost any money to do some of these changes, because I think one of the biggest concerns that people have is money. Like, how are we going to
Right.
pay for it? You pay, for me, I feel like all you need to pay for is the information. I
Mhm.
will give you the tools to be able to do this without having to spend money outside of the information that you have.
Right.
Obviously, there's different things you may have to pay for a parent night, you have to do this, but it's not that you have to go get a whole new full-time employee. You have to now go do all, you don't have to do this. You just have to make things work with what you
There's
have.
no curriculum to buy.
There's nothing. I
It's
just,
a mindset. It truly is. And your entry is sense of belonging.
yeah.
Like you start with your core values being sense of belonging, and anything is possible from there.
100%. So yeah, you definitely are
So
on the right track.